Oh, I just realised my sound was none. Oh, sorry, that guys. My sound was none for some reason. Hey, welcome to Queensville on a Sunday. This is an extra show, not planned, but because yesterday wasn't available to do Queensville on Saturday today, I thought today I'd come on this afternoon because basically I haven't missed no work at all now, so back to normal on tomorrow, which has just been a nice chilled weekend for me. So you're getting an extra Queensville for a bonus treat today. I thought I'd just come on and, see you guys anyway. So welcome to Queensville. 2 hours worth of chat and talk in Q&A sessions and whatever you guys want to talk about. Live chat is available now on the screen. Let me just test it first. I think it's working, that's good. So if you guys watched the stream on Thursday, was it Thursday night? Thursday night, I think I did it. Thank you very much for tuning into that one. Today is a bonus treat for you guys. I did say on Thursday I was going to do a Queensville live of the Queen CDs, the old Queen CDs, and how they modified it within the versions they did in 1986 to 1991 to 1992 to 1994 to not to the new ones. Because I wanted to do this because I wanted to show you guys why they modified a lot of the CDs and why did they do it that way, and everything was kind of a bit sketchy for EMI at the time. So this is going to be a very interesting stream for you guys this afternoon. If you want to tune into that, tune in now. We're also taking the Q&A questions as well today. So any questions you want, please let me know. Just like to update you guys on the release of Jade's album, A Secret Voice, has been received fucking tremendous. We received some great reviews for it already from friends and family and everything else. And I have received a lot of great messages saying that was a great album. Secret Voice is fantastic. You guys haven't heard the album yet, you need to buy it because it's still available on the website for a few months anyway. And it's available at the website, links on here, description below, and also it's available to purchase on Discogs as well for a £5, including all the promotional material as well. There's 2 versions available on the Discogs website. One is the international version of it, which is only available to Americans and to overseas. The UK one has the PMP shipment charges on it, which is set to £1.50. And I have to do that because it's obviously supposed to be on the website. If you order on the website, you get free PMP. If you order it by Discogs, there is a £1.50 charge on this. Because it just basically is because Discogs on the silly way to do it, which is I suppose in a way it's their business that they're trying to sort out in America and how it is anyway from it. It has been so bloody hot over the past few days. Today it's been horrendous today. The weather tomorrow's going to be cooler, which is great. But today, can't breathe at all. Cannot breathe in this room. The fan's going to have to be on all the time, guys, and it's going to go backwards and forwards, so it might affect the camera. So if you hear this fan's on full today, by the way, because it is already roasting in the studio. It's warm. There is the windows open as well, but obviously the fan will go backwards and forwards on the camera, which should not affect actually the broadcast on this, which is cool. Now, I've also recently just had a clean of my computer. I've been figuring out what's been going on with my computer. My computer's been roasting over the past couple of days. Apparently, when I was moving stuff around and before we've got the new furniture and the things and stuff, yesterday we got the upgrades in. We did. We got the new amplifier. We got the new mixer, and they're all under here. So I can't be showing camera where it is. I tried to put it in various areas and on here. It didn't fit. It was too big to put on this part, and the little mixer couldn't go anywhere else. So I had to go and shove it under there, just for now. Thinking about getting some extra compartments for this part here, so we can put the mixer here, and we can have a bit of an extra recording side of it and stuff, digital things in it as well. I am actually thinking at a few weeks' time to upgrade Magic Studio 12 to the last version, which was Magic Studio 14. It's the same version that I've always used. But this version, the upgrade, when I saw it, there's a lot more features to export them to FLAC format and to WAV format and to the high compression use as well in it. I do have to say that Magic Studio 12 is the best one. I'm getting some issues with it at the moment. It's come up saying DOS error, program error, and I don't know what is going on with it. Apparently, it says DOS error 86. Magic's cannot find this format, or can't find this coding or encoding system on it. So I don't know what's going on there with it. So after investigating it, apparently that is a fault from the US edition of this Magic Studio suite. So I have to uninstall this one. Then I have to put on the UK edition of it, because I don't think this version will handle it anymore. So I have got the UK disc, but I am thinking about upgrading it to the next version of it, which is kind of good for any reference. So so this stream this afternoon is going to be interesting and fun and everything else. But if you did watch the last stream from Thursday, thank you very much for tuning in to that. As I say, I couldn't do the stream yesterday because I was busy yesterday. I mean, I was supposed to be going out yesterday, but plans were off for that yesterday. I was basically in here sorting the studio out and everything else, and it was just took ages to do. Took all my day off. That's why there was no stream yesterday for this. So that's why I planned it today for a second stream. So you guys have got an extra stream today of Q&A and Potter chat and everything else and stuff. So we can go ahead and do that today. This is also the link's also available on the Queensville site as well. So stay tuned. I just want a special thank you to Nicola Pierce, who commented on the video yesterday. She didn't see it till later on in the States. You get it in the States a bit later. She saw the first trailer for The Secret Voice being released, and Nicola was very pleased with it. She said, "What a voice!" It says, "A secret voice." I said, "What a fantastic voice!" And she said, "I know. Hopefully, she should buy the album because it's well worth it." And it's just really phenomenal how we've actually produced a fucking amazing album. I think you've sent it, we produced something brilliant. Oh, it is. If you guys did watch the stream this week, I told you about Super Chat. Super Chat is a new thing I've just started to learn. And I realised the Super Chat is pretty good because, you know, you can get people donating to Queensville, because the channel's doing okay as for videos and stuff, which we are doing phenomenally well with. But what we obviously had an idea to do was to get you guys to, like a Patreon thing, you know, like pay like £2 or something for a coffee. What we like to do is we basically want your help, guys. I'm saying that I'm not actually in financial problems. What it is, time again, things get a little bit too expensive to buy for the studio equipment. That's why we're trying to upgrade this thing now. That's what we said before. That obviously toners are more important. We kind of would like you guys to really just contribute something very small if possible, from £1 to from £1 to £2 to anything really, because the reason that we had this idea on Friday, if people actually contribute to the YouTube channel, you guys will get more content produced for us. That will make us more better. We can go on location, we can go and do some videos outside of the studio. We can do more videos for Jade's album, which at this very minute we had a great meeting on Friday about that. We're discussing about the date sorting out in about another fortnight. We're hopefully going to try and get that filmed on a Tuesday or a Thursday, because we're having about another 1 week of recording stuff. We realised that now we've got all this time, we've got all this spare time now. We've got like Tuesday, we've got like the studio recordings to do, and Thursday we've got the management stuff to sort out now, and also the recordings as well. And Mum's going to be away for a week, so she's away to look after some of the dogs and stuff. So I'm with Devon all week, and so me and Devon this week. So that's good for us. So we're pretty good. And Jade's coming over for 2 days next week as well, which is cool. So I won't be long. I'll be fine. We've got some business. We're still rolling on the train. We're still going on the train. We're still going to produce some content, guys. Yeah, I'm just making sure that this fan does not affect the camera. So yeah, it's just something you guys think about for the next couple of days, because we are back to normal with the general chat on Saturday, next Saturday, we're back with that as well. Bonus thing, guys, you guys have been asking me for over a week, are you going to do the Q&A session with Jade? And yes, we are. We have confirmed it today. It's going to be live in the afternoon at 3 p.m. 3 p.m. in the afternoon for an hour. We can't go on more than 2 hours. 1 hour is enough because an hour is all we can give. 3 o'clock on Tuesday afternoon, Jade and me are going to do a Q&A session for you guys. A proper one this time, proper camera, proper setup, and we're going to do it better this time. So yeah, we do promise, guys. So so if you guys are going to say, yeah, fantastic, it's going to come, yeah. Yes, definitely this Tuesday, 3 p.m. As soon as we get all the business sorted out, and as soon as we know the admin, as soon as we're doing all the recordings, we're back with you guys on Tuesday afternoon, 3 p.m. The live link is actually now live on the event. So if you click the indication on the bell, you'll notify yourselves when it'll be live. So do you get yourselves in for that as well? Because we want a lot of questions for Jade. So I don't want people just sitting at the computer and going, just doing this and then just blowing on everything else. Loads of questions for Jade, please. This is her time now to come in and do a general chat thing for you guys. Because I know you guys were asking before that the stream didn't work and the chat didn't work. That was because of the laptop we used on that day. It didn't work properly, and we apologise for that. So we're going to erase that Q&A session off the stream now, and we're going to bring a brand new Q&A session in that we're going to do for that. So really, that's going to be good for us. So yep. So next Tuesday, 3 p.m. live on YouTube, you will get to see Jade and me talking about Secret Voice. Finally, everybody's been demanding me to do it. It's coming. So next Tuesday, she'll be here, and we're going to do the Q&A session that day. And she's fine with it. She said, it's great. So that's all sorted out. So quite a lot of streams coming up this week. I feel like I haven't been away for ages. I just seem to be everywhere else and stuff. But anyway, later on in the programme, we're going to do Queen CDs Revisited. And I had this great idea to go back into the vaults again. And not the videos I originally filmed, but do it live on Discogs, because I've had a great idea to show you guys what they originally did in 1986, and then 1991, 1992, and 1993 versions, 94 versions came out. Them horrible student issue ones, yeah, those disgusting ones. Showing you the editings they did and the edits they did out of it and what stuff they did in the things of it. So that's coming later. So look out for that. It's very exciting. That is actually. Because no one's done that ever on YouTube ever. No one's done a video of it saying, "Well, this is not so." Because this channel is just great for you guys for knowledge and stuff and everything else it used to do. I did actually watch back the recent live stream I did of that one, and I was very proud of it. I thought it was really good. Apart from the fact it keeps crapping out on some of the issues with the broadband. The broadband gets insanely hot all the time. I don't know what's going on with that thing for some reason. It seems it's back underneath here now, because it was actually standing at the window. It's back under here now, under this desk, keeping out of the heat. And yeah. I was to say Pinana, or as Ted Polly would say. It's like, I'll be at home, I'll give you a man, give you a ring, I'll give you a ring and a number, I'll be at work, see you later. That's too many weight with tea, isn't it? Anyway, that's it. That's interesting anyway. The other things going on, apart from the Queen stuff coming in a minute, I had a message from somebody messaged me the other day about a Queen poster. I don't know whether I put it on here or not, or somewhere else. I did have somebody wanted a Queen poster, and it was the Wembley one that was up there. I did have another Wembley poster actually. The Wembley poster is has no longer here. It actually got tore up. It ripped everywhere and it was off the walls and it was really bad. And yeah, it wasn't really the best things going on for that, which was terrible anyway. Anyway, that's left me ranting on it for a bit. Let's go to this Queen CD revisited thing. If you give me a second, guys. In fact, I should be going to get some juice actually, because I'm going for a drink. I'll go and get a drink. Get your questions in, guys. Everything you need to know. because this is an interesting stream. And actually, this is going out to Mark, by the way, because Mark, obviously, as you all know, Mark couldn't join us for Queensville for a while. But it's going to be interesting, this one, so stick around. I'll be back in about 2 minutes. Okay, we're back. This is General Chat. This is General Chat, and also what we're going to do now on this special edition of Queensville for you guys is I'm going to show you. Well, basically, let's go back a bit. Actually, what I'll do is first let me try and find the. Try to find a list before we begin this actually. Somewhere down here. Let's oh well, I've got some leave up anyway. Let's see. Oh, fake, alright. Figure run is. Well, looks like I have a few left. I just got ready to get some. Something missing. Yes, we are. We're not missing that. It's a fake version of what was, which is no longer there now. Right. So. Okay. So, anyway, let's get on with this special Queen CDs. Now, as you all know, many years ago, quite a few years ago, I did the Queen CD collection. I was the very first person on YouTube who did my own Queen CD collection. Nobody had ever done it ever before, and I gave you a run through of the CDs, where they were made, where they were produced, and where they were matrix numbers and stuff as well. So what I've done is I've dug out some of the worst, some of the old ones, these horrible ones that came out from the student, especially the student artwork version of the United States Heart Attack. That was horrendous, that thing. But I've been also I've lost my Wembley one for some reason. I know my Wembley one's gone. But anyway, but before I do this though, before I do these, I want to go back on two products that I still to this day had have not brought this back up since the last time that I filmed it. Now I filmed this in 2009, and I didn't put this in my updated video, which was filmed in 2016, I think it was. Might not have been, like something else is what we did. But if you remember, there was two discs that were fraudulent ones, there were fake ones, and they weren't even, the sound quality was not correct in it. And I've still got them. And I've still got them, and they're still here. They are. These are the fake. These are the fake versions of Innuendo and the Miracle album, and yeah, this is interesting. Now, now I've understood from the time I filmed that video to the time I actually investigated into the fake fraudulent versions of this, which obviously is the ones that did get attention for, and wondering where were these produced and where were they from, and what happened, when Tez, what did you have anything back from it, and what's the feedback? Right, loads of people messaged me about that over the past few years ago. I never got a chance to get revisited actually, which is kind of one thing to do. Well, after I had been in touch with a few people on the Queen page, and everybody had been telling me that you know, when I put the scans online, they absolutely were convinced, and they did tell me these apparently were not from an EMI factory. They weren't from an EMI factory. Somebody bootlegged this, very cleverly done it as a main disc for it. So this is the one that started off, which was this fake version of the Miracle. And in a way, and obviously the back sleeve was the concern, because this number didn't exist at all, and neither Discogs had any indication where this was from. Apparently, somebody was bootlegging this version. Apparently, it was trying to say it was the original CD master. It didn't sound like that. It didn't even sound like it to me for some reason. This sounded horrendous when I got it. This is the fake version. Because you can tell the reason it's fake is because EMI would never, ever, ever, if you can see it from there, EMI would never, ever use that at all. That is not genuine. That's not the genuine EMI label anyway from this. So, place of manufacture statement on label. That does not make any sense. That is absolutely frauded. So this is actually been pasted over the top of the original artwork of that one. And also underneath, the issue with this is obviously the black thing's missing, the country's manufacturing state of the label. That's been removed off there as well. This is a total fake of it. Now, it's very cleverly how they produce this on very clever paper, because the paper on this is absolutely horrible. It's it just looks too like it's kind of like matte paper. It's like matte paper really for it. That's what it is. So, and even though there were like lines inside this, there was like some red lines in there as well. So it looked like you printed off a normal laserjet printer, but not originally being glossied as what it was anyway. That was the first thing about it. And the second thing was the booklet got had apparently, it says apparently the booklet got like some damage mark on that. Well, apparently when that came out of the jewel case, this was apparently this was all scratched, and it didn't even, and this was absolutely horrible. And obviously you can tell it's been produced pretty good, but the way they've done the book, it's very, very heavy. It's very, very thick paper. It's like card paper for us, and it's not even glossy. It's not even, doesn't feel like the original artwork to me. Some of it's been edited out as well. Like some of the pictures, some of the in a thing on this, it doesn't even look like it's actually properly done, because you normally see it a bit like this, but this is like too horrible. And obviously the brightness is a little bit off. Even just some of the text is wrong in this as well, because all of it's wrong, and doesn't even make any sense, this booklet. So that's why there was no, because a lot of copyright information in this is wrong anyway. So it says their passport master track software. Well, that wasn't even credited originally in this anyway. What's that all about? What passport master track software? That doesn't even make any sense at all. That is total bullshit for a start. So that's a terrible thing to do. Wait to the end though, I'll tell you why they were doing these as well. This number does not exist either. Discogs does not have anything about that. It is a reference. Apparently, it's a fake CD. And then you've got the. Let's go zoom out a bit. 2 seconds. Oh well, stay there anyway. And then you've got the CD, which is not genuine at all. And I'll tell you why it's not genuine either. If you look very carefully in the inner ring, apart from my thing on it, you can see that there's a lot of fray on the disc itself. If it zooms in on there, you see there's a lot of fray at the top of that disc as well. This disc is not genuine. And there's not even a Parlophone in Italy. So it's made in Italy. Yeah, it's apparently a bootleg that was made in Italy, but it's not a genuine CD. And if you go for the matrix numbers on there, that matrix number does not even exist either. It's supposed to say EMI Swindon, EMI Swindon Limited, and obviously it doesn't. And this disc is absolutely horrendous. The sound quality is terrible, especially so quiet, and the mastering is absolutely. I wouldn't even say it's mastering anyway. It's absolutely dreadful, the CD. So yeah, that was the first one. So this was the first one of the fake CDs that came out. So that's the first one. And the second one is this most bizarre release I've ever had, is the Innuendo disc. And this is the one that's really, really interesting. Apparently, the same exact people who did this disc apparently wanted to make this more authentic and stuff. Well, it's very clever how they've printed this on. And what they've done on this disc is they've machined this properly. They think they have machined this properly, but it doesn't seem like it's a genuine disc at all. There's no way this made in Italy. There's no way it is. No way. Part of the fact is the text looks way too. The print looks way too like it's like scratches off. So like the E will scratch off straight away and the innuendo will scratch off straight away. This text is just absolutely horrible to touch. Even the printing is really, really bad. This is supposed to be the genuine number for it, but obviously it doesn't say where it was manufactured. So it looks like it's been a proper bootleg, this one, and it's the sound quality. This is absolutely atrocious, absolutely atrocious. Same goes for the booklet as well. The booklet is very, very, very the same exact thing as what is on that one. It doesn't look anything like that's supposed to be see-through. It looks like it's really cleverly done. Some of this has been deleted off here. So all this has been squished out, and obviously that's been removed. This has moved something off there as well. And then you've got the horrible. That's supposed to be darker. It's not. I don't think that's supposed to be like that. When I was indigo dark. That's too bright. And some of this is all missing some credits off there as well. There's all credits missing off there. There's all that space there. Apparently, this is all wrong. All this is wrong. And then you've got the supposed to be number there. Obviously, it's been pasted over with a fake number. That number is not actually, it's not genuine at all. And the bottom's been edited as well. So you can tell straight away that these were very illegally done. How they got to the UK, well, that's actually interesting. I'll tell you in a minute what happened on these. And then the back sleeve, obviously, with that silly pressing on it. Apparently that's a fault from the manufacturer's printing. Apparently that's someone's genuine thing on it. I have no idea what did that for. So apparently it's missing off the EMI, the polyphone missing off it. The texting's been really squished together, misprinted as what it is. This one's been pasted over again. EMI would never ever do that at all. They would never do this. That is total fake. Just pasted over with the original number in it. Apparently, all this has been edited as well. So that's one thing I've been done with it. So you guys are going to question me, why were these out? Well, 2000 and if you remember from the video we did about the Music Zone thing, Music Zone had been a good chain of getting CDs out and supposed to be genuine CDs. Well, Music Zone apparently got sued over these ones. These came apparently from a bootleggers convention, and unfortunately EMI didn't know about it at the time. They didn't have the rights to produce these out because people were trying to get away with these ones apparently, and these are fake. When I checked it out on Discogs, the numbers just don't match at all. They don't. Apparently the original numbers that I own now is out, but these were fraudulent discs. The sound is absolutely horrendous on this, and it's not, the mastering is bloody horrendous as well. So that's why you can tell from the fact that this one is a lighter colour of it. That's not even the original colour of it. They just basically did that themselves, and then they did that as well. And this is why it was a weird thing to do with a barcode up and a barcode that way around. So anyway, the numbers on this is pretty interesting because when you go on that, when you figure it out, the numbers, it's on the Innuendo one, it's got 795887. Then on the Miracle ones, it's got 792357. So that confirms that this is just not genuine. It's not genuine at all, and there's no way that EMI would have allowed to issue this without their permission, because they've got to sell these first before they get permission of EMI to release these again. Luckily, these were withdrawn, and that's why I still have them in my possession. But something's telling me now to get rid of them because these were illegal, and I'm keeping them anyway because it's part of the collection. So I'm happy that I did keep this. My Wembley one, I'm having a fat box. That was a fake one as well. That was not even genuine. It came from the same people as well who were bootlegging these out. So the bootleggers were kind of trying to get these out straight away when it literally was thinking, well, we'll do this anyway and we'll get them out. And that's why these were withdrawn. So that concludes that mystery. So apparently these were just put out illegally without EMI's consent, and they're basically trademarked EMI, and obviously the people who put these out got sued for it, and they were withdrawn off the shelves again. So that's why these were horrendous. The sound quality is not even good on this either. But even though it was released in 2011, sound quality was better, and it was all genuine for it as well, which is even good. So now we're going to get on to these, the 5 different versions of the Queen album, 5 different versions of the Still She Hot Tag album, and we're also going to do by Discogs because this also is great for information. So I'm going to actually enhance my camera a bit bigger, and we're going to show you guys the alternate versions, or the original versions and the alternate versions they did of the Queen CDs. So here we go. I'm just going to put my camera on as well. Don't worry guys, chat is working. If you guys want to chat to me, I'm just going to keep the window mode actually. It's bigger, that's it now. So and let's put my camera on as well. Let's see. Can I add camera? I can't add camera. Anyway, actually I can add camera. I can turn this one off. Let me see. There we go. And then I'll put the camera on here. Activate camera. Huh. Apparently it won't let me activate the camera on this. Doesn't matter. Just put the camera back on there for now anyway. Right, so there we are, that's it, it's better now. I'll have to go now anyway. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to show you guys the alternate prints from the Queen CDs to the recent prints from the new CDs. Alright, and just hope you're going to enjoy this because this is interesting for me as well. I'm not going to talk about the things, talk about the images first. This one. So this is the image. Just give me 2 seconds, guys. I'll go on here. Okay. I just need to we'll go back to that in a second, guys. I just having to message somebody at the minute. Can't show you guys at the moment. I can do is I can go back to my camera anyway to sort this out. Okay. Chat room's working, guys, by the way, if you're interested. 2 people in that room, actually. So, as you all know, this is how they originally released them. Then there's a backstory to this as well, which is interesting. In 1986, after the Queen tour had been a successful thing, EMI re-released the catalogue. And the reason that EMI were re-releasing it is because Queen's tour had just finished at the time, and then it was all done. And so when these came out, these were the only way that they were only available to get, because they were the first ever issues that came out from this. And the original plan for EMI at the time was just to reproduce them for the market, for the CD market, which was going to be working for it anyway. And so they had control over the artwork, but they didn't have control over some of the original artwork for the album. So this is why this was kind of interesting for it. So what they did, the only idea would have to do, they weren't allowed to use the back sleeve because I had to use this transparent back sleeve for it, using AAD format. And the original number was 74624-2, all produced at Swindon. They also had the original EMI copyright on this as well. And then and obviously at the time, Queen owned the album. And then 1973 Queen Productions. Now the only reason that they were copyrighting this is because it was only copyrighted from the main album was out in 73. EMI took control of the release of this one. And basically Queen owned all of this at the time. It was out 86 is when Queen signed the agreement and said, we're going to take control all over this business. Trident is out of it altogether. Trident didn't have anything to do with it at the time. Trident was still trading at the time, but after that, the Sheffield brothers didn't even have their own stand on it really for what it was made for. This explains why these are out. And this mix on the CD is rare. It is rare. It's the first time it was ever out on the CD. It sounds amazing. Doesn't sound anything to the Fame version. The same version is remixed apparently. And this version that came out, this rare version, the first version that came out in the UK, was really, really good. It's very, very good indeed. Sound quality is amazing on these ones. Really cool. And then they had the alternative back sleeve again. Had to put this on because it was basically the same as the other sleeves when we produced them at the time it was out. Apparently, the EMI's request was to call it Queen 1. because apparently it didn't want to get confused with Queen. Apparently it was Queen 1. Apparently that's why they were tapping that side from their bits on their quality control thing with it as well. EMI had control over the disc as well, and obviously EMI Swindon was where they were originally producing these ones, which was interesting. So as you may notice, it's got 2 dates on there. It's got 1973 made by Queen Productions and 74 Queen Productions. Now the reason why 74, that's obviously the fact is they sued the Trident. It was actually supposed to be Trident Productions, but apparently Trident was getting sued at the time, and then Queen took all rights to buy the whole catalogue to EMI, and then the deal was done with EMI to release these back on CD, which is really amazing what it was. And these Swindon versions are amazing. The sound quality is really good. So the rarity ones are very good indeed. Now that's the first issue that came out. The artwork inside is actually the same. It's all the same. This next version that came out, this was a re-release that came out in 1986. This was also the second version, but this was the Fame edition that came out. And what they did, let me go back to the first one. This is the first one they produced. The second one they did it darker. They wanted to go back to the original colour of the album. So when this one was kind of a bit of a lighter colour for it, some of it was pretty much on there as well. And then when they re-released it, the second time around, we brought 2 versions of this one. This is the second edition that came out of this one. The first edition, I think, was just the same, but they just wanted to make it more colourful and didn't crop it all out. And they wanted to keep the EMI logo on it, and it was just released that way, really, for it, because it was released in this format. So inside the booklet, you would get the original credits of the album, basically copied and pasted the back sleeve on here, so it had all that sorted out. Then indication there, if you're alright, apparently it was obviously written by Tim Staffel, and obviously I thought it was a two-thing combination of it. So having a little bit of a spider on that's kind of a bit, well, I suppose so anyway. But yeah, B. Feldman and Company owned the rights to Doing Alright, but apparently it was trading as Trident Music, Dick James Music. Apparently a deal went through with Dick James at London because they wanted to make sure that they would have permission to use the song from Tim Staffel's side, and they finally did. The only reason why they were cropping the pictures out on the very top of this album was because they weren't allowed to use the original back sleeve because it was not the right idea for it to do. So this is all off 4 sections of the first album. So this is the left side of the original album. This is the right side of the original album. This is the top part of it. So this is why they cropped this off. Then you've got the third part of it at the end of the album, which is the bottom sleeve. Then you've got the other half of the album on the right side. That's why they were doing it this way. And it was the only way that EMI was making sure they were being careful, so they weren't replicating the album sleeve, and the artwork had to be very, very careful at the time. So in the middle section of it was cut out altogether. This is why they did it this way for it, which was interesting. So that's why EMI couldn't use the back sleeve for it. Then you got all this bloody nonsense here, which is total bullshit for a start. Now, if you go back to that first release of it, you can tell they've gone and used a purple background for this. When they reissued it, they went for a more blue background for it. So it was more, okay, well this first version's a little bit naff, but let's make it blue instead. And that was EMI's problem, trying to replicate it out as much as they could, to put as much detail as they can, and to do it that way, which is kind of thing as well. Is that the same track listing? Is that the same thing of it? But they want to make it more of a bluer version. It kind of doesn't make, which kind of, I suppose, really doesn't look too bad. Just because we were going to replicate the album in a way, that's what I'm going to do. Now, this next part's interesting. We'll go to this version first. This is the original number for it as well. When it was re-released again, they used a different thing underneath this one. Apparently, it was CDFA 3040, which was basically a second print of it. Now, the reason that we're doing that is because the first versions that came out, it was EMI's own way. When it came out on this label, it was budgeted at $5.99. That's the reason why it was budget. This is the budget release. It's exactly the same version, but it's a budget release that came out from EMI's part. So exactly the same track listing, exactly the same thing, just more bolder on this one, light bolder on that one, and the sides bolded as well. That's the reason why it had to be done for that reason as well. So if you were to buy this one would have cost you $11.99. For the budget version, it would be $6.99. That's the reason why they were trading it as this thing for it. And the disc, what the disc? This is the first print that came out. This is the second print that came out of this. Basically, this version was more bland, really. It was more like boring. And obviously on the original EMI sleeve, this one was more better because they had better printing and better pressing at the time as well of it, and that's why the discs were more better quality for it as well. So it's the same printing, just more better disc. The disc frequency was more like better on this version than the original one. Just more bland, just more really silvery, but this one was more high density, more sound quality was better in it. And obviously this is produced at EMI Swindon. The original inner ring on this EMI Swindon, and that's the CDP number there. This was the first EMI Swindon version 3.1. This one was 2AR10, which is the second edition of it. So this is why they used the EMI Swindon catalogue number on this one. That's why they were reproduced better, because the sound quality was better and the discs were more better to get a handle of it as well. I mean, the first version that came out, the bland version, it was alright, it was okay. For this one, more better to use in it, which was kind of a bit of a thing for it, and it was not bad. And then this one is the 1992 repressed version. This is the 1992 repressed version. This is exactly the same as the front sleeve of this one, and this one, back to this one again, I have this one here. They decided this time, instead of going for that one and that one, they go for this one. I just closed it. Oh, no. History. That's it there. It's 1982 repressed one. So they decided that they would have the first version, second version. The third version that came out was more of a purple, like a light purple kind of dance really for this one, which was kind of bizarre. So this was kind of like just the same one as that one, but that was lighter and even a more like tarnished version of it, which is kind of a bit weird for a start. And then you've got the same disc as before, but then there's a different copyright on the disc. 1982. If you go to the disc itself, this is for Triumph Productions. You go to this one. It's changed because at the time the EMI, they lost out on EMI and they actually moved everything over to Parlophone Records, and Parlophone had complete control over this release of it. It was actually just after the tribute concert. These were out, I think, at the time. I don't know what date this was actually. This one, and it kind of does rectify the fact that obviously it was getting re-released again for the third time, and that's why it was re-released again for the third time in 1982. And obviously, when it got into the USA, it was more better for it. Now, the only thing about the back sleeve is, on this press, is that this one was obviously the Fame edition. This one apparently is the Fame edition, but this was the international version of it. This is the French version. And that's why they had to keep the same copyright underneath it, but they didn't have control over the new remasters because apparently the sound quality was 3 times out for this one. And when it was out in the States, when it came out in Hollywood Records for 20th anniversary, that came out from their side. If I just try and find the US version of it. 1991, 1992, 91, 91, 91 version, 1991. The CD version of it, the first time it ever came out in the Americans, had control over the artwork. And the reason they did this is because I had EMI on this one, they were allowed to use the original print from the UK sleeve. but he had to take off the EMI cut around it. That explains why, yeah, obviously it's got that as well. Now, obviously, this is another thing about the American releases, but the US editions had, for the first time, had been released in the USA because when they did the deal with Hollow Records, they sold their whole catalogue over to the Hollow Records trademark, and these were the only ways you could only get the bonus tracks in them as well. They did a phenomenal job with them actually, which was really good. Devin, get out now. Go on. Go on. Get out. Get out. Get out. Get out. Get out. Go downstairs. Bye. So this explains why Hollow Records did a better job. And Hollywood released their whole catalogue in the States. And they, Brian May's request, they allowed some people to come and remix some tracks for the bonus tracks of them. This is the only way you could get them in the States. You had to order them. They were $15.99 each, $15 each in the States, and in the UK it was $12.99 each to buy. These are the best ones to go for. The artwork is amazing on this one. I found the disc artwork for this one, which is somewhere in here. CD release in the USA. I think it was this one. Canadian release of it. It's Canadian release. It's the US release. This was Warner Brothers' own sort of idea for it and stuff, but they did a better job of the discs, and we got blanded crappy copies of the main CDs, which were out anyway. So go back to this one, and then you had like bland discs, and then you had great discs from the States, and did all this on their side. So they didn't have the money at the time. EMI didn't have the money to reproduce them. In the States, they had full control of this artwork. The artwork was fantastic. The discs were better. It was in high density quality. Remixes were brilliant, and they were absolutely phenomenal, really phenomenal work. And this cost them a lot of money to even do this. It wasn't for like, oh, free of charge. Artwork was more like the same artwork as before, but it was being reversed. And they had to reverse the sleeve because they weren't allowed to use the original. Because people were thinking it's a mirror image of the album's artwork. Why would they do that for? Well, obviously Hollywood doesn't own the rights to the album. It's only owned by EMI at the time. That's why they weren't allowed to use their own rights of it. So apart from having the fact that when you went to this version, you went to, let's see, is that the, I don't know if it's the last couple of booklet inside it. Maybe it was this other one. I don't know. I'm not sure. One of them anyway. But this reason why they had to reverse it, they had like a big, huge, like sort of poster inside it. And Hollywood did a great job of this. And apparently it says this is a remake. This is a remake of Creeped Out Alive, and that version never heard said about everywhere. And that was when Brian May was at Hollywood Records, and they gave him the permission to use it as well. All lyrics included as well, all restored. Mother Swan lyrics for the first time ever. And then the series produced that as Warner Brothers, which is really interesting. So that gives you an overview of why they were doing these discs. That's an overview why EMI did not have the money at the time to produce them. So they were only producing these ones at the time, the remasters. I'll get them in a minute. That's why the reason that EMI didn't have control over the mastering on it. They wasn't remastered. Sound quality was the only best thing they could only offer to the UK public. And then part we're going to go for anyway, which is 1984. But we're going to stop there for a moment because we're going to talk to you guys. Yeah, this is general chat this afternoon. Extra Queensville program today because I didn't really go on yesterday. I had a lot to sort out, guys, yesterday. But we're going to go out the 1994 versions of these. I'm not doing all the albums, by the way. I'm doing only just to explain why they were done this way. Right, we need that one first, that one second. 3rd. Right, now, this next part is interesting. Very interesting indeed. Now, these are... This one's you're going to see. These are the 1994 versions that came out. Before I even go and tell you about this story that happened to these ones, this is interesting. In 1991 and 92, Hollywood Records bought the whole catalogue, and they were allowed to release all of the material, and they were also allowed to release their catalogue, because Brian sold it over to Hollywood Records. When these ones came out, these were absolutely atrocious. These were atrocious when they came out. Atrocious. The sound quality on every one of these is horrendous. When it went to 1993, the first one I brought out was Sheer Heart Attack, up to... Let's have a quick look here. Also, Sheer Heart Attack, Night of the Opera, Day of the Races, News of the World, Jazz, The Game, Podspace, The Works, Flash Gordon, Live Killers, Queen, and Queen 2. And that is in order. That's in order of release. Right. And it says apparently they were released between July 1983 and 1994. So they were like released every month when you had to buy these ones. And these are not recommended to buy all these ones. But what happened? Peter Mew at EMI had the bloody hard task of trying to remaster the CDs. Unfortunately, these were, well, I have to say, these were dreadful discs that came out. So, Digital Master Series. There was some kicking around later on that came out in, some came out in a different format when it was used for it. So, the first ones that came out, this is the European release that came out. This is the identical copy to the other ones. These were the UK ones. These are the first ones that came out. These artworks had to be readjusted. So that's why you've got no copyright issue on this one. So there's no EMI logo on that one. And there's no, basically, they made it bigger. That's all it did. So you can tell from there, there's the original, and there's the big one. So that's why they engrossed that image out a bit bigger for it. Then you've got the back sleeve, which this is the Digital Master Series version. Original sleeve is exactly the same as that. Actually, I could be wrong. I could be this. Oh, that's not. That's right. That's right. So there's the original back sleeve of it. And then what they did was over-pasted, very cleverly, over-pasted it when Parlophone bought it. And Parlophone bought the whole lot. So that's why you go back to that one. And it's like they used to own it at the time. But now they do own it now. So Queen owned the whole lot of this catalogue. Unfortunately, EMI screwed this up badly. They really screwed this up badly. The sound qualities were terrible. The CDs were dreadful. The discs were absolutely horrendous to buy. They were awful. Absolutely awful. Just very bad quality. These were very bad indeed. So, and you can tell also from the fact that when they went back from the original disc of this one, they basically put a blue thing on it and basically put on Queen, which was kind of a bit too naff when it was out anyway. And then, for the first time ever, they used the lyrics, and there's all lyrics are wrong in it anyway. They also enhanced the booklet as well. I have no idea why they were doing that for, because basically there's no point, because all you had to do was replicate the disc, and it was out by the time it was out anyway. And that was kind of like, why? It just made the pictures more clearer. This again, also the fact is EMI did not have the rights to use the booklets inside the album artwork. I'm not allowed to use it. And apparently it says lyrics reproduced by kind permission. Well, who off though? Because we don't know who was off. Was it off Brian, or was it someone else? Or was it the fact that they just put it in themselves? That's sort of bullshit for a start. So I mean, we've said the original of Queen, but Brian May or anything, you know, they didn't put it in themselves for it. And these were just these ones had original stickers on these as well. Some of these stickers were removed at the time because they were some of these were released overseas. And obviously it says like released by EMI 1983-94, 12 albums of Queen, released on CD and cassette. They were all digitally remastered at Abbey Road Studios, but the main thing is they were just very, very bad versions. Easy to identify the phrase digital remasters in front of the cover and on the CD cassette itself. Also in the booklet there was a page for both examples. See images here. The series contains following albums of Queen, Shout Out, Queen 2, Night Opera, blah 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 blah, same thing as before. And it says Greatest Hits was released in this series, although there was no image in the booklet. Yes, because he didn't last time. It was the last one they released anyway before they brought them out. But the thing about these ones is that, well, from what I can see from here, I don't know what these are. These ones, apparently it's different artwork on these ones. These ones are from Japan, and the sound quality and the Japan releases are phenomenal. You know, they were really fantastic at the time. That was the first time ever Japan got them out. But when they were released, when they were re-released again in many years down the line, they basically what they did was they just basically, EMI in the UK just can't get them out because they said, well, this is just going to go somewhere, but obviously it's just with it being EMI's daft request of doing it, and hence the fact that's why these were released at the time as well. So all these were just put out. The EMI just put them out and said, right, we'll enhance the sound better on it, but what we'll just do is we'll just decide to just stick these out again and redo the bits of it. And when this one came out, this is the worst one. The lot. This is student artwork to the death. This is, I mean, they basically just took the inner sleeve of that one, and then they literally just said, "Oh, right, I know what we're going to do. Let's just put the original artwork inside the sleeve of this with blocks underneath it and stuff." You know, it was just like horrendous. This was actually withdrawn, this one, many years ago, but the sound quality on this first ever release is horrendous, and I don't think anybody at EMI couldn't give a shit, to be honest. So these were absolutely dreadful, absolutely dreadful. So I don't recommend these anymore because these ones were the first ones that came out, but EMI didn't have the money at the time. They said, well, where's all the bonus tracks and why is it we're getting the US ones? And they were furiously thinking, well, we don't know what to put on, we don't know what we're going to do. And then obviously they said, we've got the money to do that. So that's why it was a bloody fortune to cost these. And they were also released on CD the very first time they came out. There was a special promotion that happened for $6.99 to buy this piece of trash, and it was chop. It was just like, what is the point of that? So that explains why these were out. Because the comparisons that we're doing at the time, we were trying to replicate them as the original CDs before they came out in the thingies, and then the States got their first release of Greatest Hits, which I'm going to show you actually right now. Because as soon as I got Greatest Hits, you won't understand about this actually. It made me kind of query about this as well, because this was interesting. Because this thing in the States was very interesting indeed. And if I find it, because I was on it yesterday. Let's see. Try and find the CD version of this one. That could be already down for this. I think it is. Yes. When it came out in the States, in the USA, this is the US edition of it. The US edition is different. This one came out in 1983, the very first ever CD produced by Warner Brothers. And what Warner Brothers did, the Electric Records, they did an alternative version of Greatest Hits in the UK. They didn't put it exactly. They didn't put this the same as they did in the UK. They changed it around. So they put track listing a bit weird, different for this one. So basically, and the images are a bit different as well on this. So if you go to Queen Greatest Hits, let's see, hits 1984. Go 1984, and you can tell that obviously this back is different because they used different font on this one. And I also noticed something different about the European release that came out. The 2011 version was very interesting indeed. So basically, you've got the 4 shots there. But what EMI did, there's the original back sleeve there. But what US one did, used an alternative version of Freddy's face, because apparently they didn't want to have this look on the back sleeve, and they said, no, let's use serious looks. And that's why it's different, you see. So you can tell. They just did it themselves, really, for what they didn't have control over it. In, now, get in, lie down. Lie down. Lie down. Lie down, Devin. Lie down. Good girl. And I don't know whether the booklet inside is actually any different at all, because I don't know what the booklet looks like, to be honest. But this US edition, when it came out in the USA, is totally different to the UK version of it. So what they did on the UK is kept it exactly the same as what it was. And then on the US edition, it was No Match Dust, Bohemian Rhapsody, Crazy Little Thing Called Love, Killer Queen, Fat Bottom Girls, Basket Race, Under Pressure. First time ever issued on the CD edition of it. And We Will Rock You, Really Champions, Flash, Somebody I Love, Your Best Friend. Keep Yourself Alive, apparently always owned on this release because it was the US thing of it, and then play the game. That's why the US version is better than our rubbish UK edition. And I think this mix on the US edition of it is well better than what it is. But it's expensive. And if you wanted to pay 55 quid for it, good luck. Because this is the best one to go for. And when you go to the 2011 version of this, it's 2011, they have fucked up on this bloody CD as well, because this is interesting as well. Now, this is the original back sleeve of the CD. What they did on this one is different. They used a different picture of Freddy on there. That's taken from the Untold Story. And I'm now curious, why did they never use that picture? And they overpasted it with that picture on it. That's very, very unusual. So we've got alternate shots there. That's the original shots there of it. And then all of a sudden, let's stick the frame of Freddy in there from the Untold Story version of it. So was this the fact that EMI was just saying, oh, why did we put that picture in there when we shouldn't have put it in? And you know, and it's, and as I say to them, well, keep the original there anyway. But maybe they were just doing it for their own purpose of making the marketing more better for it to do, you know, most out of it. And I don't like the fact that when they reissued it, I don't like these goddamn cuts on this goddamn. These are just ridiculous doing this. In the US edition, when it came out, which came out in the later USA version, that was records. So a quick look at this. They used a different one. Apparently theirs wasn't out for some reason. What was that? Very bizarre. This is the Hollywood Records release of it that came out of Greatest Hits 2. I wonder why you didn't put the 2011 version of the Greatest Hits one on there. Very unusual. So I'll have a quick look at that in a minute. Yeah, I know there's a blue version of Greatest Hits 3 there. I don't think that's well worth seeing that, to be honest. Let's go with the 2011 version in the States. US, Hollywood Records. Hollywood Records mustn't have had these out until later on. Oh, it doesn't look like it's actually out yet. They brought it out on vinyl in 2016, but they didn't put it out on their own thing for some reason. Well, Greatest Hits 3 is a mystery. I don't know what's all about that God Blue edition of Greatest Hits 3. This one here. This apparently was only available, and it wasn't even out actually to buy. This was only available in the box set. It wasn't available to buy as a separate CD. Apparently, this. They really. This is not recommending go on to buy it, to be honest with you. All right, fair enough. It's got like it's a bit of fun for it, which they could have used earlier on, but this compilation is absolutely dreadful. I stay away from this one badly, because all my Queen fans always keep saying to me, "Oh, there's that bloody 3 again." And it's just horrendous. It's really, really bad. So that it all explains about the mystery of why those discs were out. Why they were always cropped to hell, and that's the reason why EMI bought them out, you see, from that time, and that explains they didn't have the money to get these out properly. That's why the money wasn't there for them. So all they did was just shove them out and just reproduce these, and then give it to some college student, and like this one. I think this is the worst of the lot. This one, it's just a college student with a brim, where you want to copy and paste it in there and stuff. My original video is still there actually of this one, which is the best one I ever filmed, and it is seriously fantastic. So this is why I want to do the comparison videos, to let you know that's how I did them. So that was really good. Nope. So that's out of the way. Oh god, so much talk on that, don't I? So that explains all this, guys. EMI didn't have the money at the time, and the remasters in this are terrible. So don't buy them. Horrible. Stick with the 2011 versions. They're the best ones. When they came out, some point is great on them. Cool. And that's when Brian and Roger had the money and said, "We've got the money. Let's get these out. Let's get rid of these horrible, shitty ones." Because Brian was furious when they came out. These ones, just saying, "What the fuck is this shit?" It's just like, it's not recommended for them at all. So get it to 2011 versions are better. If you guys want to chat to me this afternoon, you can. I wasn't really here to do a stream this afternoon, but now I'm here. You guys can chat to me this afternoon if you want to. Just so you know, guys, we have a stream coming up next Tuesday on YouTube, where Jade is going to be here. Yes, Jade will be here on next Tuesday for her thing. And Devon is not too bad today. Yes, it is so warm today here. It is so warm. Literally, I can't believe it. Last night, we had a power cut last night, apparently, in the room, in the house. Power went off for like 15 minutes. So I was on the phone in National Power Grid last night, and I was thinking, hey, my power's gone off. What's going on here? Apparently, it was there had been a electrical cables apparently from because I live like between Bold and between Tilton Castle. And where the power source happened was power surge happened about from here to here, and then it was just and it just went off. And there was a power surge happened up there last night, and it was really it was whoa, can't see anything. But no, we've got the power back on now. We're fine with everything at the minute, which is even good. Or what it was anyway. If you guys want to chat with me this afternoon, you can basically send me a message. Let me know how you are. We'll get your messages by 5. I'll disappear and I'll go and do some work. Hold on a minute. I don't think something's going to happen there. Lost my finger. Basically, I've got nothing else to mention because I told everything about you guys on Thursday. The stream was not meant to be on today, but because we had extra day free, we had extra day free this afternoon to do Queensville this afternoon. Keep you guys updated about that. But if you guys want me to do a video like that to bring it out again live or recorded, let me know, guys, by the Queensville page on Facebook because it's still there anyway. Just want to say a big thank you very much to people who are liking the burn video. Still getting amazing views for that. Great thing for it. And she wants to go out now, which is kind of bugging me, aren't you? You bugging me again. Yes. Yeah, well, you can just wait. Yeah, you can wait a few minutes. I'm getting told off now, apparently I've got to go out. Yeah, I suppose we can take you out because it is kind of a nice afternoon really for it anyway, which is even cool. If that's it, guys, I'll go off now, and I think I'll just sort of let you know, guys, this was an extra stream today, just to come on here and just do an extra show for you guys today. We are back next week with another live Queensville on Saturday, and we are doing one also on Tuesday with Jade. So tune in for the Tuesday one. Tuesday's going to be really cool. We can only do it at 3 o'clock, guys, on Tuesday for an hour because we've got limited time on Tuesday to do it, but we've got like an hour. You've got an hour to get your questions in. So what we'll do is any questions that you have for the Q&A session on Tuesday, I'm going to post the questions on the ST page, so you guys can ask all the questions we can, and also ask them live here on the chat room as well, because now the computer's now fixed now, and I've also plugged back in my SD card reader in my computer. You know, I've been figuring out what's going on with this thing. Apparently, when it plugs something in at the top of this computer, it shorts out apparently the root system on it. But what I realized was when I upgraded my Windows 10 to the new version of Windows 10, I realized that the Windows 10 I had confliction issues with it apparently, and apparently it crashed. It kept crashing my system. It was rebooting a lot every 10 minutes, and it was just like, what is going on? And literally, after I investigated it, that Windows 10, the third version of Windows 10 that was booted in October, was a load of rubbish. It was crapping up so much. And so when I upgraded to the new one and I plugged back in my computer, now it's just not even crashing. It's not even switching off. It's just actually keeping the power on, which is wonderful. So that's why I think there was an issue with that last version of Windows 10 that came out. Because I am positive that Windows 10 was wrong. It was programmed absolutely wrong. That's why they had bugs in the system for some reason. But now that I've got the new version of Windows 10, it's working superb now. But I'm just making sure that this SD card reader doesn't mess up again. And if it does, and if it is the SD card reader that's giving out the things on it, that disconnects it, then I know for a fact it's the reader itself. But apart from that, I've had no problems yet with it, which is, fingers crossed, it should be all right now. So it's been been that. Yeah. No, I haven't had any problems with the computer at all actually for now. But apart from the fact I've got to fix now the Magic Studio, because now now I've got Magic Studio on my computer. What I was saying before in the beginning of this, before I started, Magic Studio's been playing up now because apparently it's saying DOS error, 86 DOS error, DOS error, DOS error. I don't know what was going on with it. But when I figured out, when I went online, apparently it's a bug with the US edition of this stupid Magic Studio. So that's why Magic Studio's been acting up fucking useless for me. So, and that's why I was kind of like wondering why the sound was going off when we were recording the Secret Voice that time. It came up saying DOS error, and I was thinking, well, it's not the sound, it's not the hard drive, it's something in the system that's making it go wrong. So that's why it kind of was going a bit weird on that time as well, which is bizarre. So yeah, it's been but this week's been really good. We had a great week. We had an amazing week, especially with the week we just had now has been amazing. Next week, tomorrow, we're starting off with more recordings tomorrow in the studios back on the moon tomorrow, which is why I'm off today. And then Tuesday, we've got a live stream with Jade in the afternoon. And then Wednesday, more business. And then Thursday, back in the studio again. And then Friday, we will be hopefully, because this is what I'm thinking as well. I also have been interested with AdSense as well. And AdSense has been an absolute pain to sort out. AdSense has been a pain in the ass to sort out. AdSense is the thing where you get your revenue every year, every month, and you generate your sales up and your views as YouTube views go well and everything else. So, what happened with that was I contacted AdSense and asked them about my AdSense and whether my AdSense was getting paid. It says you've got an error in your system. Well, I got this error all the time saying about saying your revenue has been affected because changes will happen to it. And apparently it's a Ustream error that I'm getting on it. I'm not even on Ustream anymore. I'm off it altogether. Deleted the account altogether for it. Apparently it says that a text file is still inside it and it's not going to ever get removed. So I wish that Google AdSense would sort that out because it's annoying for me to do. But they said you will be getting paid on the 26th or 24th of July. And I thought, good, because my revenue is due on Tuesday. Because I get like a full statement every Tuesday. On 4 weeks on Tuesday, I get like a statement, and what happens is the sales that generate from the YouTube sales of every video that I can produce on the channel, it makes a lot of content up, and it's amazing. For the burn video, I'm really excited for the burn video to be the highest one that I've actually ever got. Something else happened as well. Something else happened before I go. I don't know how the hell this happened yesterday. Shut up! Shut up! I've got one thing more to say there and then we'll go. This dog's really... Anyway, I was just saying, before I leave, my Microsoft account had got hacked, apparently, yesterday. There was a thing going around on everyone's account. It wasn't me, it was everybody else affected by it. Apparently, somebody was saying, that Microsoft, Russia, apparently, somebody in Microsoft got my account and logged into it. Luckily, I changed the password. I was safe. I checked everything. I checked to make sure my emails were fine. They were okay. But for some reason, the IP address when an account saying was in the Russian Federation, I was wondering, well, who the hell's got that? It says, that wasn't me. I went, that's not me. So, point Microsoft. Apparently, there's something going around. Apparently, that there's a cover up something going on with some emails, and someone's getting the email address, put your wrong email information in. If you do log in your email account and you change your password, you're supposed to get a text message off your phone, and and obviously when you get a text message off your phone, that confirms that it's you actually who's got the phone number. So how can somebody have my details when they literally can't log in until I have my password on there? So luckily Microsoft's done this new thing now where you've got like a PIN number and you can have it locked on your account, which is what I was going to do anyway, which is something I've just got cleaned up. But I was kind of like, what's going on here? And I went there's an error on me drive now, so I had to change all my passwords yesterday, had to change all my login information on my computer, everything I had to change yesterday. So that was done for like 10 minutes, and I was just thinking, where the hell's it come from? And then apparently it was somebody from China who got it. So some bloody people getting my goddamn email address, and they're literally just like thinking, let's just send some crap to Tez, and let's get him annoyed. And it's like, well, I'm not annoyed. I'm just kind of like worried about why would you do that for, when it's not even your decision to do it. And you shouldn't be doing that because technically it's your privacy information. You don't want to do that, do you? No. So these other things that started up with us, and these other things I've been watching, these hunters programs, and they've been saying like that apparently they can find information they can do, but obviously they can't log into certain accounts and things, and it's actually illegal to do that. So why would they start realizing that you've got, they shouldn't have any of your business when literally it should be all just that. And I think it's basically a it's their own way of doing it, which is crap, absolute crap. It's just naff, isn't it? Naff as it is. Anyway, that's it for me, guys. Sorry the studio's a bit naff today, but never mind. If you want to leave a comment on the page, leave a comment on the video. We have got next week, as I just said to you before, and Devin, will you please pack it in? Next week, next Tuesday, Jane me will be here doing a Q&A session live. We will be back with Queensville next Saturday with another stream. Saturday will be even cool, so tune in for that. Till then, guys, have a great weekend. See you guys on Tuesday for a live stream. Until then, see you later. Bye.